In today's tutorial, we are going to learn about JavaScript events. Events are actions that happen in the system you are programming. The system fires a signal when events happen, so we can do something when they do. For example, we can perform a task when a button is clicked. Let me show you this simple example. So I'm going to create my index.html. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a simple button. So every time when I click on this button, I want to fire that particular event. So what I'm going to do here, in the button, I'm going to create an ID. Let me say ID is equals to btn. Okay, so here I'm going to say just click me. So every time when I click on that button, I want to do something that is called event. So every time when you click, the event is going to be fired, then the corresponding action will be seen in the browser. So this is what we are going to be doing. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the actions for the event that we are going to fire through this button into my JavaScript. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a variable. Let me name the variable as btn. So where are we going to fire the event from? I'm going to fire the event from this particular button, right? So what I'm going to do, I need to select that button where I'm going to fire the events from. So if you want to select that one, document dot get element by id, pass the id for the button. I'm sure that btn is the button id in this case, right? So what I'm going to do now, so when I click on that button, I want to fire something. So in order to do that, you have to grab this variable where we are trying to refer to that button dot. Then here you need to write the event that you want to perform. Let's say when I click on that button, I want to fire an event. So there is an event name called onClick. So what does that mean? When you click on that button, this particular function is going to be executed. So let me have the function. So when I click on that button, this particular function is going to be fired. So what can we say? Maybe let me just alert the message saying the button was clicked and the task is to show this dialog box, something like that. Right, this is simple, right? So what are we trying to say? So when that button is clicked, we are going to fire the event called onClick. Then this onClick is going to give us the response like the button was clicked and the task was to show this alert box, right? I hope everything is clear as for now. Let me save and run. Let's see how this onClick event would work. So when I refresh, it's going to give us the button name called click me. When I click, this event onClick is going to be fired, then it's going to show this particular message. When I click, the button was clicked and the task is to show this dialog box. So this is how events would work. As I said, events are actions that happen in the system you're programming. So is there a only way that we can use an event in JavaScript? There are plenty of ways that you can use them. You can use the inline event. So when I say inline event, instead of writing an event here, you can just write them in the button here itself. So what you can do, go to the HTML, instead of writing onClick there, here you can write an event. So what is an event? onClick, right? So when I click on that button, what do you want to see? I just want to display that alert box. So in that case, what we can do, let me comment this part out now because I want to have the inline event. So here onClick, let me remove this part id, there is no need. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to have the alert box here saying the message inside, the button is clicked, whatever the message that we have them here. So let me copy and paste this message in the interest of time. Let me copy, paste them here, save and refresh. Click, the alert box is saying the button was clicked and the task is to show the dialog box. So there is a different ways that you can include the events. That is what I'm trying to show you. So you can create an event externally, or if you want to have an event in the same button, you can still have it. Or there is another way. I'm sure that this way we have already seen them in a different example. So here you can have an event. Here you can have the function. For example, let me say this one we have already come across with a lot of exercises. So let me show you anyway, right? So let me remove this message here that I have. So instead, I'm going to do the function calling here. So onClick, here I'm going to have the function. Let's say in this case, function name is what's the function name? There is no function. So let me just remove this part. Let me say show message as a function, right? So I'm going to say click me even here. So what does that mean? every time when I click on that button, this button is going to call the function name called show message. As for now, I don't have the function in the name of show message, so I have to create a function. So if you want to create a function, what you can do, you just copy the name of the function, go to your JavaScript file, say function keyword, and then the name of the function is show message that we have copied from there. So inside we are going to have the message, anything like, we can just say alert. Let me say I'm from function calling. Since we have the function, so you have to call the function. So show message, this is function calling. We have already learned about the functions. If you still have any questions, kindly go and watch that tutorial before you watch these events, right? So let me go and refresh. So there is a button. When you click, when you click this button is going to call this message with the help of the event name called on click. So it's going to display whatever the thing that we have written within the function. In this case, what we have written is I'm from function calling. So when you click, it's going to bring us I'm from function calling. It's not working. Why is it not working? Because remember, you need to include the JavaScript into your HTML. I've just removed the JavaScript part. No wonder that it's not working. So don't forget to include the JavaScript. Let me save and refresh. Now it should work. So I'm from function calling, yes. So go there, refresh, click the button, I'm from function calling. So this is a different ways that you can use or include events in your program. Now the question is, does that mean that we have only on click as an event in JavaScript? There are plenty actually. I really want you to go through the documentation part for the JavaScript events in the official web page, or even you can go to the W3 schools to know more about the events, because there is a lot of events like click events, mouse events, keyboard events. There is a lot of ways that we can use them. So in this tutorial we are going to focus on commonly used events in JavaScript. Otherwise, apart from this one that we are going to learn, there is a plenty of events in JavaScript. I really want you to go to the documentation part for the JavaScript events for you to know more about events, right? As for now, this is a way that we can use JavaScript events. So in the next tutorial, we will learn the different events in JavaScript. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.